Welcome back to my channel. Today, we enter the courtroom where silence isn't peace, it's pressure. Every breath, every heartbeat is waiting for the storm that's about to break. There's a reverent stillness, like even the air knows something sacred, or devastating, is about to unfold. Meri Brown rises slowly. Her hands tremble, but her voice, steady, cold, unforgiving. Your Honor, she begins, I have evidence that Kody and Robyn misrepresented themselves. To this court and to all of us. The words detonate. Gasps ricochet through the room. Even the judge's gavel comes down too slowly, as if he himself needs a moment to breathe. The camera pans to Kody, that smug, familiar smile finally faltering. Across the table, Robyn clutches her handbag like a lifeline, like she could hide inside it from the truth clawing its way to the surface. What began as a simple custody hearing is now a bomb ready to destroy the entire Brown legacy, one DNA test at a time. Because DNA does not lie, and this time Meri isn't staying silent. The air is heavy, perfume, sweat, secrets, a cocktail of tension so thick you can almost taste it. Meri sits poised, her hands twisting in her lap. Kody sits across from her, jaw locked, the same false confidence that once charmed millions on television. But today, no one's smiling. Your Honor, Meri says, voice trembling but firm, before we proceed, there's something the court and the public will need to know. The judge raises a brow. Kody fidgets. Robyn's fingers dig into a manila folder. Meri pushes an envelope across the table, slowly, deliberately. This, she says, proves that Kody and Robyn have been lying, not just to this court, but to all of us, for years. Silence, you could hear the tick of the courtroom clock. Even the reporters stop typing. Kody's smirk vanishes. Robyn's eyes dart toward him, desperate for reassurance. But he doesn't look at her. For the first time in years, he's not in control. The judge opens the envelope, eyes scanning the first line, and then his face drains of color. Is this confirmed? He asks softly. Meri nods. Through DNA testing, Your Honor. Certified by the Utah State Lab. The courtroom erupts, gasps, reporters shouting. Robyn breaks down in tears. Kody slams his fist on the table. This is manipulation. A setup. He roars, but his voice cracks halfway through. Meri doesn't flinch. For once, Kody, she says quietly, the truth isn't something you can control. The gavel slams, but it's too late. The damage is done. The lie is shattered. And the man who once ruled 4 wives now stands before judgment. Not just from the court, but from the world. That sealed DNA envelope isn't just paper, it's a bomb. And it's about to blow open the foundations of love, loyalty, and legacy. So I'll ask you, what do you think the DNA test reveals? What truth has been buried beneath the Brown family for years? Meri didn't enter that courtroom like a warrior. She came quietly, humbly. A blue blouse. A cracked leather notebook she's carried since the earliest days of filming. But inside that notebook were secrets she's held for a decade. This isn't about fame anymore. It's about truly Grace Brown, Christine's daughter, loved by all, raised by many, and failed by some. Christine sits 2 rows back, pale, silent. She said nothing publicly, not yet. But the look she gives Meri, it speaks volumes. Kody still sits wide-shouldered, playing the role of a king in exile. But the act's over. When loyalty turns into silence, and silence becomes a weapon, that's when the court starts to listen. Meri rises again. Your Honor, she says firmly, this isn't about religion or lifestyle or polygamy. This is about Truly's well-being. The judge leans forward. Meri continues, voice tightening. There was a medical emergency while Truly was under Kody and Robyn's care, and they withheld treatment. I have medical records and a signed physician's report to prove it. The room freezes. Even the court clerk stops typing. The judge turns to Kody and Robyn. Do you have a response? Robyn's lips tremble. We did what we thought was best. Truly's a tough girl. She didn't seem... Meri cuts her off. Didn't seem what, Robyn? Didn't seem like her kidneys were shutting down? Didn't seem like her airway was closing? Or did she just not seem important enough to take to an emergency room? Robyn's face turns scarlet. Kody looks away. And for the first time in the entire Sister Wives saga, the truth stands taller than any excuse. The truth stands taller than any excuse. Today's courtroom isn't just a stage. It's a battlefield where truth claws its way through years of silence. And this time Kody Brown's voice won't save him. The judge barely raises her head before Kody's already on his feet. "Objection," he growls, his voice echoing through the chamber. He doesn't have a law degree, but that's never stopped him from playing the role of authority. This is a family issue, not a custody dispute. Meri doesn't even have legal standing. But the judge lifts a calm hand. "Mr. Brown, take a seat. This court will decide based on facts, not titles." That single line slices through Kody's ego like glass. Because the louder he yells, the clearer it becomes. He's terrified of what's about to surface. The first exhibit flashes across the courtroom screen, a Cedar City ER report. It shows that Truly Brown was taken in 2 days later than doctors had advised. The second exhibit, a text message projected for everyone to see. It's from Robyn to Christine. "We thought it wasn't that serious." She was moody anyway. "We didn't want to scare her." The audience gasps. Christine's face hardens, pale and silent, her hand clutching her purse so tightly her knuckles whiten. The judge scans the message, lips tight. "This is highly concerning," she murmurs. Kody shakes his head violently. "She's twisting things. She's always been jealous." "This is about Robyn, not Truly." That word, jealous, makes Meri lift her chin. Her voice is soft, but it lands like thunder. "This isn't about jealousy, Your Honor. It's about what happens when one wife becomes a queen, and the rest of us become nothing." The courtroom falls still. The gavel strikes. 15-minute recess. In the hallway, the tension follows like a shadow. Kody leans against a vending machine, hair tied back in a sloppy ponytail, muttering under his breath. Robyn dabs her swollen eyes with a tissue. Christine and Janelle whisper quietly near the wall. And Meri stands alone, calm, composed, holding that same cracked notebook that's carried more truth than any of them could bear. A young reporter from the Salt Lake Tribune rushes up. "Meri, do you think you'll win?" Meri doesn't even look at her. "This isn't about winning," she says softly. "It's about stopping something from getting worse." When court resumes, the next witness takes the stand. Janelle Brown, older now, measured, tired, but steady. She's been subpoenaed on Meri's side. A shock that ripples through the courtroom. She clears her throat. "I was there that night," she says. "I dropped off some things and heard Truly crying upstairs. Robyn said she was just tired, but her face was red and she was throwing up." The courtroom gasps. The judge leans forward. "And you didn't step in?" Janelle swallows. "I wanted to. But Kody told me it wasn't my business. That truly wasn't my concern." Meri looks down, her shaken. Even she didn't know this part. Kody explodes. "You're lying! You hardly showed up that week." Janelle doesn't even glance at him. "I showed up more than you did, Kody." The room freezes. The judge slams the gavel. "Enough. Sit down, Mr. Brown." As Janelle exits, Meri's attorney stands again, holding a sealed envelope. "Your Honor," she says, "we request the court accept into evidence this DNA report certified by the Utah State Lab. It directly pertains to Mr. Brown's history of dishonesty." Kody's face drains of color. Robyn's hand grips his beneath the table. The judge glances at the envelope. "What is it?" Meri answers quietly. "It's a DNA test, and for Solomon Brown." You could hear a pin drop. The judge blinks, slow and deliberate. "You're suggesting Mr. Brown is not Solomon's biological father?" The envelope is passed to the bench, but the judge doesn't open it. Instead, she sets it down gently and looks straight at Kody. "This court is suspending all visitation agreements until the DNA test is confirmed on record." Kody shoots up from his chair. "This is a circus." "No, Mr. Brown," the judge replies sharply. "This is the law. Blood doesn't lie, but it can destroy everything when it finally speaks." Her gavel falls, and chaos erupts. Reporters surge forward. Robyn sobs uncontrollably. Kody storms out, cameras chasing. Meri sits still, silent, knowing what's inside that envelope. Because she's known for months. But what no one else knows is that Solomon's DNA is only the beginning. Day 2, the courthouse is overflowing. News vans crowd the parking lot. Meri arrives early, alone, her notebook open to a page marked in red ink, Robyn Sullivan Brown, underlined. 3 times. Inside, Kody paces like a caged wolf. Robyn hides behind dark sunglasses, her body trembling. Christine and Janelle sit in silence. The judge enters briskly. "We'll proceed with new evidence concerning Mrs. Robyn Brown's prior legal history." Robyn freezes. Meri's attorney steps forward. "Your Honor, we present authenticated records from 2008 and 2009, during which Mrs. Brown..." Then Robyn Sullivan lost partial custody of her 3 children following allegations of falsified statements and withheld medical reports. Gasps echo. Kody turns to Robyn, whispering sharply, "What is this?" The judge's voice cuts through. "Mrs. Brown, are these records accurate?" Robyn's lips tremble. "Those were lies. My ex-husband made them up. He was abusive." Meri's attorney nods sympathetically. "We acknowledge that, Your Honor. But the issue is a pattern. Every time a child's health was in question, we see the same outcome: neglect, delay, silence." Kody slams his fist on the table. "This is harassment. One more outburst," warns the judge, "and you'll be held in contempt." Robyn bursts into tears. "They're lying about everything. I did what I thought was best for my children." The courtroom is dead silent, but her words only deepen the cracks. Then comes the final blow. A surprise witness. Emily Rogers, a former child care worker who used to work in Robyn's home before Sister Wives fame. She steps up nervously, clutching her cardigan. "Miss Rogers," the attorney says gently, "can you tell the court what you witnessed?" Emily hesitates. "I don't want to hurt anyone, but yes. One of Robyn's sons fell from the couch and hit his head badly. I wanted to call for help, but Mrs. Brown told me, no hospitals, no reports. It would look bad." The room gasps. Christine covers her mouth. Kody shouts, "Lies!" But Emily's eyes glisten. "I remember the blood," she whispers. "I remember everything." The judge exhales. "Thank you, Miss Rogers. That will be all." Emily rushes from the stand, shaking. Because when outsiders start speaking, it's because the insiders have already exhausted their truth. Kody leans forward, muttering bitterly, "This is a witch hunt." Meri doesn't smile. She doesn't gloat. Because this was never about revenge. It was about finally bringing the truth into the light, no matter how many walls it tears down. The truth into the light, no matter how many walls it tears down. Tonight's story doesn't begin with noise. It begins with silence, the kind that crawls beneath the skin, where truth finally refuses to stay buried. She appears haunted. The courtroom light catches her face, revealing the exhaustion of a woman who finally understands that exposing Robyn might not just destroy Kody's marriage. It could unravel every lie the Brown family ever built together. Moments later, the bailiff calls Christine Brown to the stand. She wasn't supposed to testify. She wasn't even supposed to be here. Her hands shake as she's sworn in. "Meri asked me not to," she says softly, her voice cracking. "But I can't stay silent anymore." Her eyes flicker toward Robyn, who's trembling now, mascara running, eyes glued to the table. Christine clutches a stack of printouts, emails, each one like a ghost from the past. "These," she whispers, "are from Robyn." Her hand quivers as she reads aloud. "Please, Christine, don't say anything. Kody's temper is bad enough. If this leaks, he'll make sure none of us see the kids again." The courtroom falls still. Even the judge stops writing. Robyn bursts into tears. Kody's jaw tightens, his voice erupting like thunder. "You have no idea what I was dealing with. You don't know the pressure." "Enough," the judge snaps, gavel striking like lightning. Kody sinks back, trembling. Christine turns toward him, tears burning behind her eyes. "You're not the man I married into, Kody. You're a stranger now." For a moment, no one breathes. Because when love turns into survival, every truth begins to sound like betrayal. The court calls for recess. Outside, the world erupts. Reporters swarm like vultures. "Christine, is Kody Brown abusive?" one shouts. She walks past them, sobbing. "Meri, why bring this up now?" Another calls. Meri pauses just long enough to answer, because silence protects the wrong people. When the courtroom reconvenes, the judge exhales heavily. "I've reviewed prior custody documents," she says firmly. While this court will not retry 2009, Mrs. Brown's history remains relevant to her credibility. Robyn whispers, "Please don't do this." But justice doesn't wait for comfort. The judge continues, "Unless we confirm the present DNA evidence, and given the pattern of medical negligence, this court temporarily revokes Robyn Brown's custodial rights over minor dependents, effective immediately." The words slice through the air. Robyn collapses forward, sobbing. Kody leaps to his feet. "You can't do that. That's my family." "Mr. Brown," the judge warns coldly, "one more interruption, and you'll be removed." Through tears, Robyn whispers, "Please, you don't understand." "Then clarify," the judge says, voice soft but deadly. "What aren't you sharing?" The room freezes. And then Robyn finally breaks. "If I tell the truth," she says faintly, I'll lose everything. Meri leans forward. Tell the truth, Robyn, she says. For once. Robyn lifts her eyes, empty now, defeated. Fine, she breathes. You all want the truth? You think that envelope was the only secret here? Kody, don't. Kody's eyes widen. Robyn, stop. But she doesn't. I met with David, my ex, 2 years ago. Solomon needed school medical records. He asked me to take a DNA test for Solomon. I didn't want to, but when I saw the results, her voice breaks into a whisper. I knew Kody wasn't his father. Gasps explode like thunderclaps. The judge pounds the gavel, but the room is chaos. Kody's face drains of all color. You lied to me. Robyn covers her face, sobbing. I had to. You would have left us with nothing. Meri quietly closes her notebook. Her tears aren't for revenge. They're for the years they all lost to silence. Because the worst lies aren't told to others. They're the ones we tell ourselves until we start believing them. The judge leans forward, voice sharp. Mrs. Brown, are you confirming that the DNA test proves Mr. Brown is not the biological father of your son? Robyn nods. Barely a whisper. Yes. The gavel strikes again. The sound echoes like thunder rolling through the ruins of a family. This court orders immediate paternity verification by state authorities, the judge declares. Session adjourned. Outside, the world ignites. Headlines explode. DNA bombshell. Kody Brown not Solomon's father. Fans gather at the courthouse gates. Some cry, some scream. Some defend him blindly. Kody storms through the crowd shouting, "This is fake! This is all fake!" But Meri just stands there watching him crumble. Christine approaches quietly. You knew, didn't you? Meri nods, not for sure. But I had a feeling. As cameras flash, Meri whispers, barely audible, truth hurts, but lies destroy. She walks away, her silhouette framed by chaos and flashing lights. Behind her, Kody screams her name, but she never looks back. Because now, the Brown family story isn't about love, or faith, or even polygamy. It's about evidence. And evidence once seen can never be unseen. The third day in court doesn't start with fireworks, it starts with silence. The kind of silence that comes after betrayal. Kody enters first, shoulders slumped, his old swagger long gone. The cameras he once adored now stare at him like weapons. Robyn follows, hidden behind black sunglasses, not to avoid attention but to hide her shame. A bailiff walks in carrying a sealed manila envelope, the state's paternity confirmation. The judge opens it slowly. The sound of paper unfolding fills the room like thunder. Her voice is steady, surgical. According to DNA testing conducted by the Utah Department of Health, with 998% certainty, Mr. Kody Brown is not the biological father of Solomon Brown. No gasps. No shouting. Just the stillness of a truth too heavy to breathe through. Robyn bows her head. Kody doesn't move. His eyes are vacant, lost. The judge continues. These findings void prior custodial petitions and mandate immediate review of parental rights. Additional hearings will follow. Kody finally turns to Robyn. You said you didn't know, he whispers, barely a sound. Robyn's lips tremble. I didn't... Not exactly. Meri watches quietly, her eyes sharp, her face unreadable. The judge's voice cuts through again. This court will now consider evidence of potential fraudulent filings under oath, including family contracts, tax records, and medical documents. Kody snaps. He slams his hands on the table. This court is weaponizing my family. You don't know what it's like. 10 years on TV, trying to hold it together while these women destroyed everything. Christine leans forward, her tone calm but cutting. We destroyed it? Or did the truth just catch up to you? The judge pounds the gavel. Mr. Brown, one more outburst and you'll be held in contempt. He sits, seething, drenched in sweat. Then the next exhibit appears, a video deposition of David Jessup, Robyn's ex-husband. The screen flickers. His face appears. And everyone knows what's coming next will rewrite everything the world ever believed about the Browns. Coming next will rewrite everything the world ever believed about the Browns. The courtroom was unnervingly calm, that kind of calm that only exists before an explosion. David sat upright, measured, his tone steady but his words carrying the weight of revelation. I contacted Robyn 2 years ago, he began, eyes locked on the judge, because something wasn't right. Solomon was exhibiting medical characteristics that weren't consistent with my family's genetics. I asked for a test. She resisted at first, but eventually she agreed. The courtroom held its breath. Even the hum of the air conditioner seemed to fade. The interviewer leaned in, cautious. Did you inform Mr. Brown? David's jaw tightened. No, she asked me not to. He paused, eyes flicking briefly toward Robyn. And I'll quote her words exactly. He's too fragile. He'll spiral. That single line detonated like a grenade. A ripple tore through the courtroom. Janelle inhaled sharply as though struck. Christine's lip trembled as she dabbed her eyes. Meri didn't move. Her stare was unwavering, like she'd known this truth long before it was spoken aloud. The judge adjusted her glasses slowly. Mr. Brown, were you aware of this exchange? Kody didn't respond. His throat moved, but no sound came out. Robyn, pale as parchment, whispered, No, he didn't know. I didn't tell him. The judge's tone turned frigid. And did you falsify the medical documents submitted for Solomon's school admission? A pause. Then, Robyn nodded. Yes, I listed Kody's name knowing he wasn't the father. Silence. Not courtroom silence. Soul-deep silence. The kind that makes you hear your own heartbeat. Then Meri rose slowly from her seat. Your Honor, she said, voice steady but dangerous, I have something to add. The judge blinked. Proceed. Meri handed over a printed email chain, messages between Robyn and a TLC producer. The dates matched the timeline of the last season's filming. The judge skimmed the pages. Her expression darkened. The room braced itself. Mrs. Brown, she said finally, are you confirming that these communications suggest you were… Meri cut in. Robyn was selling Solomon's health scare as a potential storyline. The emails referenced faked medical figures to boost ratings. The gasp that followed felt like thunder. Robyn's voice cracked. That's not what that was. I was trying to save our revenue, to keep the show alive. Christine shot up, tears streaking down her face. By selling your child's sickness? The judge leaned back, eyes glinting with restrained fury. We are no longer dealing with a custody motion. We are dealing with potential medical fraud, tax misrepresentation, and perjury. The gavel hit the bench sharp as lightning. Additional sessions will be scheduled. Kody leaned toward his attorney, panic creeping into his voice. We have to stop this. But it was already too late. The floodgates were open. Flashback 2015, a rustic cabin outside Flagstaff. The wives laughing by a campfire. Cameras rolling. Kody cradling baby Solomon, a picture-perfect moment of family unity. Off camera, Robyn huddled close with the producer. The producer's grin was slick. If we tease a health crisis, the ratings will soar. Robyn hesitated, then nodded faintly. Cut back to the courtroom, present day. Janelle rose from her seat uninvited, eyes blazing. Your Honor, I have something to say. The judge's voice softened, but her authority didn't waver. Proceed, Mrs. Brown. Janelle turned toward Kody. Remember when we bought the Coyote Pass property? You said it was for all of us. You told me to pull from my retirement, and I did. But the deed… She paused, pulling out the folder she'd been clutching. The deed lists only your name. And Robyn's. Kody tried to speak, but she cut him off with a raised hand. You said you'd pay me back. You said we were building our future. But you never did. Not 1 cent. She turned back to the bench. Your Honor, I have proof. He withdrew from my accounts, while Robyn was simultaneously collecting disability checks she wasn't qualified for. Robyn shot up. How dare you? Janelle's voice rose, trembling with fury. You lied about your income. I saw the bank statements. The courtroom erupted, gasps, murmurs, camera shutters. The judge slammed her gavel. Order! The sound echoed through the chamber like a gunshot. Janelle held her ground. I have every document. The transfers, the signatures, the withdrawals. All of it. The judge's eyes narrowed. Then we will review them in the next session. This court is adjourned for today, but let it be clear, this case has shifted. This is no longer a custody dispute. This is fraud. This is deception. This may become criminal. Outside the courthouse, chaos erupted. Protesters gathered. Fans cried. Some shouted Robyn's name, others screamed Kody's like a curse. Headlines lit up the screens across America. DNA test shatters Brown family legacy. Janelle accuses Kody of financial fraud. Robyn lied about paternity. TLC under fire. Inside, in a dim hallway that smelled of old wood and betrayal, Kody cornered Meri. You wanted to destroy me, he hissed. Meri met his rage with calm steel. No, I wanted the truth. His face twisted. Well, congratulations, you got it. He stormed away, cameras snapping like vultures chasing blood. Christine found Meri standing alone near the courthouse doors. "You okay?" she asked softly. Mary's voice broke just a little. "No, but I'm not broken either." Christine smiled faintly. "We're stronger apart." "We always were." Meri looked back at the doors where Kody had vanished. "I think Janelle just opened the next book." Christine's eyes narrowed. "You think Kody knew about the money?" Meri hesitated, her expression darkening. "No, I think he transferred it himself." The air thickened. Then the doors opened again. A man stepped inside, clean-cut, carrying a small hard drive in his palm. He approached the bailiff quietly. "I have audio in from Robyn's call with the producer." The bailiff frowned. "Who are you?" The man replied simply, "Former sound guy, TLC." The bailiff took the drive and disappeared into chambers. The courtroom lights dimmed as the chaos outside raged, and in that fragile silence something new was forming. A darker truth still hidden beneath the surface. Because if what was on that drive was real, this trial wasn't ending. It was just beginning. Day 4. The courthouse looked different now. No fan signs, no laughter, no gawking fans. Today it was lined with reporters, investigators, and 2 Homeland Security agents sitting silently in the back row. Kody entered first, alone, hollow-eyed, stripped of charm. No wave, no smirk. Just a man watching the empire he built collapse around him. Moments later, Janelle arrived. No makeup, no jewelry. Just a faded denim jacket and a thick manila folder under her arm like a sword. She didn't look at Kody. She walked straight to the stand. "Mrs. Janelle Brown," the judge began, "you've submitted allegations of financial exploitation by the defendant. Please state your relationship and your complaint." Janelle's voice was calm, but sharp as glass. "I was Kody Brown's second wife. We weren't legally married, but we built a life together. Businesses, properties, family. And he exploited me." Kody snorted, trying to laugh it off. Janelle ignored him completely. "I have records. Wire transfers, retirement withdrawals, property deeds. My accounts were drained between 2018 and 2021. He told me it was for family development, but every deed bears only his and Robyn's names." She laid the papers out one by one. Transfer receipts, loan documents, signatures, his and hers. Her voice wavered, but her gaze never did. "I worked for years, raised our kids. I believed we were creating something real. But the entire time, he was funneling my money into Robyn's accounts." Kody snapped. "You agreed to support the family." Janelle turned on him, voice thunderous now. "No, Kody, I agreed to support us. Not you and your favorite wife." The judge's gavel hit again. "Enough! This is a courtroom, not a family therapy session." But the damage was done. The cracks were now canyons. And from that moment on, the Brown family's trial was no longer about faith or love or even custody. It was about truth. The kind that burns. The kind that ends legacies. The kind that sets people free. The camera pans across the tense faces of those seated. Janelle Brown stands in the witness box, her voice steady but her hands trembling, holding a printed email like it's a live grenade. "He told me it would look messy for the show," she begins, her voice echoing through the courtroom. "And then, he sent this." She lifts the page higher for all to see. "He informed the network that I wasn't a legal spouse, so he didn't have to account for me in property royalties." The reaction is instantaneous. Gasps ripple through the room like a tidal wave. Christine's jaw drops. Even Meri, calm and composed through so much, leans forward now, her eyes fixed on Janelle. Then comes the final blow. Janelle drops a document on the evidence table. An uncashed life insurance policy. Her voice cracks, but she doesn't stop. "I didn't even realize I was still a beneficiary. Robyn was taking the payments for years under a medical hardship clause. But the papers..." She pauses, her throat tightening. "The papers had my name." The room goes still. The judge's brow furrows. "This is serious. If these documents hold up, Mr. Brown could be facing felony charges." Kody's attorney leans in, whispering frantically, but Kody shakes him off, his eyes wild and defiant. "This wasn't fraud," he explodes. "This was strategy. We built a system that worked." But the judge's voice cuts through the chaos. "When someone labels their deception as strategy, Mr. Brown, they've already lost sight of people and started playing a game." Her gavel slams. "One more outburst, and I will hold you in contempt." Kody slumps back, not humbled, just cornered. Janelle steps down, her breath shallow, her hands trembling. Christine rushes to her side halfway down the aisle, tears in her eyes. You did it, she whispers. You told the truth. I should have done it years ago, Janelle murmurs back. Meri watches in silence, but something shifts. For the first time in years, the women feel like a unit again. The next witness is called Lindsay Walker, a former accountant for the production company behind Sister Wives. Her hair is pulled tight, her voice calm but careful. I handled reimbursements and asset management for the cast. Meri's attorney steps forward. Ms. Walker, did you see anything suspicious in Kody or Robyn Brown's financial activity? She nods, lips pressed tight. They submitted receipts through shell companies, LLCs that weren't in their names. They were funneling show money through private accounts. And the other wives? The lawyer presses. No, Lindsay says firmly. Meri, Janelle, Christine, they never appeared on any of the accounts. They didn't see a dime from licensing or streaming rights. Meri mutters under her breath. That explains the silence. Kody lowers his head into his hands. The judge looks up sharply. Mr. Brown, you're under oath. Did you direct these payments into hidden accounts? I was protecting the family, Kody mumbles. The judge leans forward. Whose family? He doesn't answer. Because everyone already knows. Outside chaos, news vans, reporters shouting. Or Kody exposed trends online. Justice for Janelle floods every platform. Inside, the tension mounts. Christine approaches the bench again, not as a witness but as a messenger. She holds a sealed envelope. This, she says, voice quivering, is a sworn letter from Nathan P., a construction worker from Coyote Pass. The judge nods for her to read. I worked with Kody from 2018 to 2020, Christine reads aloud. He promised us all joint ownership of the property. But in 2020, I learned he'd signed everything exclusively to Robyn. He said it was for legal protection. He never fixed it. Later, I found out he was selling off construction assets to cover Robyn's credit card debt. Kody's face twists in rage. He's lying. Nathan's bitter. Christine doesn't even look at him. Maybe he's bitter, Kody, but he's also broke. Because of you. The judge sighs, pen scratching across her notes. This has evolved into a multi-layered civil and criminal case. She turns to Meri. Do you still wish to pursue your initial custody motion? Meri rises. Her voice is steady now, cold, resolute. Yes, Your Honor, but I demand more than custody. Christine and Janelle turn, startled. I demand a full legal audit of Kody Brown's financial dealings. Meri continues. I want every dollar traced, every wife repaid, every lie uncovered. The courtroom goes silent. Even Kody freezes. Meri breathes in deeply. I'm not stopping until we find out how deep this betrayal runs. Revenge ends with a gavel. Justice begins with a paper trail. The judge nods slowly. Motion noted. Court adjourned. But before the gavel even lands, the clerk bursts in. Your Honor, she says breathlessly, we've received a new submission from the TLC audio technician. The judge frowns. What kind of submission? A phone recording between Robyn Brown and a network producer. It references storyline manipulation and potential obstruction. The courtroom freezes. The air itself seems to stop moving. The judge listens to the recording in silence. When she takes off the headphones, her face is pale. Clear the court, she orders. Now. Behind closed doors, only the key players remain. The judge's voice trembles slightly. This audio confirms an intentional conspiracy between Mrs. Robyn Brown and a network executive to falsify medical emergencies for financial gain. Meri doesn't move. She already knew. Janelle leans forward, stunned. Christine covers her mouth in disbelief. And Kody? He looks hollow, like a man watching the walls of his empire collapse around him. The judge exhales. If verified, these acts constitute fraud, obstruction, and perjury. Then she drops a bombshell. There is one final witness. They've requested to testify privately, and I'm granting it. The side door creaks open. Leon Brown enters. Meri's breath catches. She wasn't told. Leon, now grown, walks calmly to the stand. I'm not here for money, they say. I'm here because I lived this. Their voice trembles, but their truth doesn't. You said I was destroying the family when I left, but the truth is, you destroyed it first. They pull out a flash drive. These are my personal recordings, video diaries from when I was a teenager. They include conversations where Kody and Robyn plotted scenes, concealed medical incidents, and controlled my mother's behavior for ratings. Meri's eyes fill with tears. She turns away. The bailiff takes the flash drive. The judge says nothing. Kody mutters under his breath, "They're trying to kill me." Leon's reply is simple, devastating. "No, Dad, you did that yourself." Hours later, the judge returns to deliver her interim ruling. Custody of Truly Brown, she announces, is granted to Christine Brown, with Meri Brown appointed as legal safety representative. Kody Brown will have no custodial rights at this time. Gasps, tears, relief. Christine clutches Meri's hand. Kody's head falls forward. But the judge isn't done. All financial and audio evidence will be referred to the Utah Attorney General for full investigation. Mr. and Mrs. Brown may face indictment for fraud, falsification, and obstruction. Her gavel falls. "This is not a victory," she says softly. "It's a reckoning." Outside, flashbulbs burst like fireworks. Reporters swarm. "Meri! Did you ever think it would come to this?" She pauses, then answers, "No, but I prayed it would end." Christine stands to one side. Janelle to the other. 3 women, once sister wives, now survivors. But as they turn to leave, a voice calls out, "Wait, there's one more file." A woman in a red blazer approaches, holding a folder. "Bank records," she says quietly. "Offshore accounts." In Robyn Brown's name. Meri opens it, eyes widening. "Who are you?" she whispers. The woman smiles faintly. "IRS." And with that, the trial that ended may have just begun again. And with that, the trial that ended may have just begun again.